Hey folks, welcome back to Planet Tyro. I'm your host Donald Wonder. We're going back in time again. I'm going to speak about an old series, not that old. It was 2006 or 4, I believe it was made. It's on the screen. And this show was really phenomenal. But it had a few missteps. But you know, I'm done with it. So you know what we need to do for this show.
Tyro Media presents.
Done it! People, I'm talking about the most arseholeless, genius doctor of all time, House MD. House MD was a medical drama kind of mystery series that ran from 2004 to 2011-12, 8 seasons I believe, and it starred Hugh Laurie as the focal protagonist, main character, Dr. Gregory House. And my God, man, I'm going to have to get my iPad to check out all the actors because this show had so many great actors, special guests throughout the years. This was one of my, I want to say it was one of my all-time favorite shows, but I can't. But I do love the show. I have problems with it, we'll get into, but I do want to say, honestly, this was a very episodic show about a doctor, Gregory House, who runs a special team that goes over rare cases, that deals with cases in the hospital that are very hard to diagnose. And Dr. Gregory House is known as a kind of a genius. He can see things from a perspective no one else can see and can solve any kind of case, or almost any kind of case. And the show is very episodic. Nearly every episode follows a different case. A different patient comes in with a very hard to diagnose or random symptom. And sometimes, most of the time, it was a patient who comes in with something that has just turned into something massive, who's possibly dying, who has so many symptoms they can't even diagnose and get to the root of what the real problem is. And by the end of the episode, House turns his head, the camera zooms in on his face, and then you know he's figured it out. The funny thing with this show is, it is very repetitive. I'm not going to lie, because it mostly ends with Gregory House figuring out what it is all the time. But that doesn't matter. The show is so many things. In so many ways, the show is a character piece for Gregory House and his team. In so many ways, it's a look at people. One of the themes, I think the headline for the show is Everybody Lies. Because patients lie all the time. They lie about their condition, they lie about their lives, they lie about themselves. I mean, it's so much layers to the show. But on the forefront, it's a medical mystery drama. But I really love this show more for its characters than anything else. The cast changes throughout the years, not a lot, but I think the last 4 or 5 years it does a major change. I mean, 2 or 3 of the characters leave and they're replaced. One of the main characters die. People die all the time in this show. Even though House kind of figures out most of the cases, people die all the time. Now, if you're watching this review, maybe you've already seen House. In that case, I can't really sell you on it because you probably already like it. If you haven't seen it, I just want to say, this is one of the best medical dramas ever, because Gregory House is a fucking asshole. This guy, he doesn't torture his patients. He jokes with his patients, he bullies his patients, he bullies his co-workers. Watching this guy work is so hilarious. He is such an asshole. He's a bad guy with a good heart. He's an anti-hero. This show was like made at the time where anti-heroes or protagonists that weren't particularly good were in. And I remember when I see my doctor, they always used to make comments about, you guys film all houses, don't you? Because doctors do have a reputation for being uncaring and very apathetic. Or very unsympathetic. I think I used the wrong word there. But very cold and Gregory House was just all that and above. And honestly, it affected him in his own life as well. But the funny thing with him is he had a problem. He had a damaged leg and he was a drug addict as well. And there were so many things to him. But I don't just want to give everything to him because the writers really did write some great episodes. Some great episodic episodes. Some of the seasons did have themes. Like I remember there was one whole season where Dr. House could have been could have lost his job because he was I think he pissed off like a judge or a politician. It's so hard for me to get into it. And I don't want to make this review long, but season by season by season, the show was good. But it was repetitive. I can't lie. It was very repetitive. And sometimes I was just like, is this story is it leading to somewhere? Is this just a show about cases, or is it a show about the characters progressing? The funny thing is, most of the characters in the show, apart from House, Dr. Chase, Dr. the Black Guy, I can't remember, Omar Epps, I believe it is, I'm sure I messed it up, but all the actors are so good in this show. The acting is phenomenal, the dialogue is phenomenal, the cinematography is phenomenal. Even when you're zooming in on the characters, blood vessels, all that stuff, I did love House. But the thing I didn't like about it really was Gregory House's character, to me, after a couple of years, it was going in a direction, and I think there was a way a direction I wanted the show to go with Gregory House himself, because I felt like his life was coming to a crescendo, one way or another, and it kind of just ended in a way where it was like, he'll always be who he is. And I just thought to myself, and I'm going to give, not a spoiler, but I honestly just wished he got rid of his leg. He cut off his leg completely. Because there was a point, a little bit of a spoiler, where they were like, it's the leg that makes him the genius. Because there was even an episode, there was even a whole bit where he stopped taking the drugs and his leg stopped hurting, and then he wasn't as sharp. He couldn't figure out cases as well. So they kind of made it out it was him being a drug addict that made him that way. And I didn't like that. The ending, the last season, House kind of went to prison, came out, and then one of the main characters left, which hurt the show, to be honest with you. It did, because in real life, I believe there were some creative differences with, I think, Lisa Einstein's character, Dr. Cuddy. I really liked her and House's back and forth. But I have to say, man, at the end, it did not have the worst series ending. It really didn't, with what happened to House's best friend. But I just wish it ended more for House himself. I think the show could have had a better ending, but it was a competent ending. I'll give you that much. It was a decent ending. It didn't bother me. And honestly, the show did feel like it was going on a bit too long. So, honestly, guys, I could go on and on about House and what I liked and what I didn't like, but it's just too long. I do want to say, I don't feel like I've given a lot of the other characters the time they deserve. But for me, even though it was an episodic show about the cases, I loved House for the characters, the dialogue, and for Gregory House himself. These three things made the show for me what it is. And I'm going to give House a low first class. Low first class because it was starting to drag on. And they ended it, it maybe lasted a season too long. It should have ended before Lisa's character, Dr. Kai's character, left. But it ended okay for me. They wrote it in a way that was okay. And I would still recommend House. But I think some people have complained it does get very repetitive, very formulaic. But it does shake up things a lot over the years. But I'm going on and on and on, guys. I should just stop. Let me just stop there. I did love House overall. I'll just leave it at that. So people, let me know what you think about House. Did you watch it? Did you like it? Did you think it was repetitive? Let me know in the comments below. People, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get my reviews straight to your feed without having to keep coming back to the page. It just makes life easier, and I do appreciate it. And don't forget to like the video if you like the video. And until then, guys, I'll see you on the next video for Planet Tyro. On here, done it. Until then, take care. Peace out.